All right. August 12th edition of Dynamite and NxT. I feel like NxT needs a name, like NxT Acceleration.
No.
No? All right. Anyway.
He's just fine. I'm gonna give it. You gotta come up with a cool name.
I'm not good at that. All right. Danny Burch versus Karrion Kross in a, I guess, 80-20, 70-30 squash, kinda, sorta. Burch got a little fine.
Got some work in. He did.
Birch got a little too much in.
I mean, I don't know. Burch is an established guy. He doesn't even. I know he's probably is a small guy, but he doesn't look small on television. He looks like a big guy.
No, he's not a small guy. It's just that against Karrion Kross, he's not supposed to get that much offense.
And he jumped on him. He jumped on him though.
And that should have
he had the right plan.
And that should have been the only offense that he got in the match.
Lou really loves his squash matches.
Oh man, I'm gonna explain to you why. Go
on. Okay. So after Burch gets 4 or 5 hits in, Kross eventually just puts him out of his misery with a choke. What's he call his choke?
The finish.
Finish.
Good night.
Keith Lee's gonna come out with a contract. I like that they were able to do a contract signing without doing a contract signing.
Yeah.
Because those contract signings are so damn predictable, and this was not. Keith Lee comes out. He's amped up. He's like, "Hey, basically, we're gonna have this match, whether you like it or not. I won't touch you until Takeover, but we're gonna have this match. I signed this contract already. Regal signed it already. Now all we need is your bitch ass signature." Sound like that, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. He hands the contract to Scarlett. They take the contract. They open it up. I don't know what they do to it besides sign it, because when Keith Lee gets it back, you get a nice little fireball spot, which looked good. How did they? Was that practical, or was that some CGI? I don't know what that was, but that looked good.
She sealed it with a kiss too. It was the kiss that did it. Kiss of death.
Yeah, kiss of death. I guess they put it inside the contract. I don't know how they pulled that off. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to make a fireball myself, so I can't tell you how they pulled this spot off. But in storyline mode, I cannot tell you how they pulled it off, and in real life, I cannot tell you how they pulled it off. Maybe one of you guys can shine some light.
It's clearly magic, big.
So Kross has magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another element of Kross's moveset.
Well, at least, maybe he should have been the one to beat Bray then, instead of Goldberg, since he has magic at least. Goldberg does not.
All right. Let's make note of that. For Kross versus Bray. for our fantasy booking. I like it.
Did you like this contract signing?
I did, until the flamethrower.
Oh, you didn't like the fire?
I didn't. So, unless Keith Lee's gonna lose the belt because he can't see, then cool. But later on in the night, Mia Yim is having a match and she's distracted. Not to jump forward, but I have to because it ties into Wyatt. But later on, I'm like, okay, what was her purpose for this fire? She was distracted, but still won the match. I was expecting her to lose the match because she was distracted.
Not only was she distracted, but she was so distracted that she cuts her promo and she's like, "Well, yeah, he's gonna be okay, I think. I just rushed back from the hospital." She comes out and does her entrance like everything is good.
Uh-huh.
Right there, I was like, why would she do her entrance? She should be like a little bit like scratching her head, like looking around, like pissed, like weird, like weirded out by the whole situation. But yeah,
She
continue,
just
Chris.
kicked ass, won her match. And I'm like, okay, what's the purpose for this? Maybe he'll lose because he can't see, but I don't know. I didn't need it. I thought when Scarlett was just standing there and staring him down, I thought that was scary enough. And he looked scared. He genuinely looked fucking shook. He just stared at her. She stared at him. They zoomed in on her. And I thought, end scene. But it didn't end there. They just kept dragging it and dragging it and dragging it. Picks it up. Cool. It was cool. Cool little trick. Didn't need it. Then they drag it into the break and drag it. Keeps these crying and towels and 30 referees. Didn't need it. Besides that, I thought the contract signing was great. Killer Crosses stood there. Scarlett looked like a ghost. Those eyes look scary. She's so fire. She's so fun. But she looks scary as hell, frozen. And right there, I'm like, this is awesome. End it. And it kept going. It ruined it for me.
Yep. This again, when I see the presentation of Scarlett and Killer Cross or Karrion Kross, they're the perfect package for television. They're just a perfect television presentation for professional wrestling. However, there are moments where I feel that Scarlett is the star and not Karrion Kross. There's just moments when I just really feel that that's kind of how it's being presented. Shouldn't be that way, but it comes across that way subtly. When I understand why Killer Kross comes out first, because his entrance is so cool. But then when Danny Burch came out, he almost looked like an enhancement talent by comparison after that whole big presentation. The one thing that I will say for Karrion Kross is when Danny Burch started off the match quickly, I thought that was good. That was the right thing to do. The one thing that gets me about Karrion Kross is that when he wrestles his matches, it almost seems like he's not aggressive enough. If you got your opponent that basically jump-started the match is trying to put you down, there's a reason for it. He's not doing it because, that's not generally Burch's style. He's more of a wrestler. But in this case, he recognizes the danger of his opponent, so he's jump-starting the match. As soon as you get back on offense, 10 seconds later, you got to put the boots to this guy, and you got to really, really hurt him. Be aggressive. It almost seemed like Karrion Kross would do one power move, plot around the ring, 20 seconds later, grab him, do another power move. And I'm like, listen, I understand you're trying to register that, but in the beginning, you've got to beat him up. Because you beat him up, you give him, 3, 4, 5 big moves all at once, and then Danny Burch is like, oh, and he's done. At that point,
me, I took it as him like not impressed. Like for me, it was like, you don't match up with me, I'm gonna let you get up.
But here's
That's
the
how
thing.
I viewed it.
The thing about it is that at the end of the day, at least the first bit of offense from Karrion Kross has to be really, really aggressive. If nothing else, it's out of frustration and anger that anybody would try to challenge him like that. You could be surprised, that's fine. Then after that, you get aggressive, you put him down, and then you keep him down. Then he could be methodical about it, and then Danny Burch can try to, not go dead, but every time he'll hit him with 1 or 2 moves, Karrion Kross just kind of looks at him like, okay, that tickles, boom, here's another one. Keep him down the entire time. The fact of the matter that this match was just getting, no matter how ineffective it may have looked, Danny Burch got too much offense. He actually got a 2 count on Karrion Kross. No.
Yeah.
No. What's the objective of this match? It's to get Karrion Kross over as a monster. Sorry, Danny Burch. You are the sacrificial lamb in this particular match. You're not supposed to get that much offense. I'm sorry. No. The match in and of itself was whatever. It was fine. There was nothing egregiously wrong. It's just that I would not have booked Danny Burch to get that much offense. Keith Lee walked to the ring with a contract. I didn't like that. I think that Keith Lee should have stormed to the ring. Like, he has the contract in hand, but realistically, he wants to get his hands on Karrion Kross. He almost walked to the ring. Yes, he walked to the ring with a purpose, but he did.
Well, he power walked. Let's be fair. He stomped to the ring.
He also said that
he can't touch
told
him.
Regal he wouldn't touch him.
That's fine, but the whole idea is
he's gonna run. He's gonna run to him to go. I need to speak to you.
No,
I'm in your face.
No, but it's a matter of showing more of a sense of urgency. Yeah, he just power walked to the ring like he did the week before. It just didn't. There didn't seem to be a different level here with Keith Lee.
I disagree. I thought Keith Lee, he sounded really tough and upset, and
no, his promo was great. I'm talking about.
Like, I feel like I haven't heard him this like.
No.
Like, your bitch ass, I'm gonna kick your ass, and all of this.
His promo was excellent. It's a matter of how he came to the ring. They didn't show a different level from where he was last week. His promo was great. His promo was really, really good. As I wrote down in my notes, I swear, Scarlett is the boss of her duo. She's the boss. I don't necessarily know for this particular tandem if that should be the case.
I like it. I like it a lot. It makes legit. It makes her scary as shit. To me, she looks scary as fuck.
But here's the thing. Who's Keith Lee facing?
Both of them.
Who's Keith Lee facing?
Both of them.
Scarlett's
everyone's
not
going to deal with Scarlett. Everyone's going to deal with Scarlett.
Scarlett's not tagging in. Scarlett's done nothing in any of those matches except block or
Zelina Vega doesn't interfere in the matches all the time. She does. But sometimes she's just out on the side.
It's a completely
calling orders.
It's a completely different act.
But she does the same shit.
But she's proved that can work.
It's intimidating.
Selena Vega is fantastic. She's fantastic.
It almost feels like when fucking when Paul Bearer will hold the urn up. That's what she's there just with her, like, I love to see those nails or whatever the heck she has, and she just puts it down and she just
the Catwoman
stares at him. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
Okay.
I don't want her to be irrelevant, because what's the point of her being there with her? Stay in the back. We don't need you. But she's fucking scary.
All right. I mean, let's see. The fireball. Again, I agree with you, Chris. It was too much.
I would have been fine with it had it made a difference on Mia Yim, and if it turns out to make a difference in the match. But as of it stands right now, I hope it does.
See, the only reason why I don't like the fireball is only because it would have made more sense had the contract come from Karrion Kross. Now, I understand Keith Lee did a great job of explaining how he got Regal to agree to the match. But the fact that he brought the contract down and he signed it prior hand, it's almost like, okay, there's nothing there unless Karrion Kross and Scarlett are the new Undertaker and Paul Bearer.
Well, couldn't he had put something in the contract and then hand it back to Keith Lee? Because he had the contract after Keith Lee had it.
Of course, but it was a complete camera trick, because really we're talking about in storyline. Maybe.
Obviously, there's no way to pull that off in real life.
Yeah, there isn't. That's the reason why I'm saying that it was a bit much. Was it effective for what they were trying to do? I guess so.
It remains to be seen. Yeah.
I guess so. Obviously as we go forward, we'll be able to dissect that a little more. Again, I love Karrion Kross and Scarlett as a package. Danny Burch got too much, and the whole Keith Lee thing is as great as the promo was, because his promo was great.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I was in love with the fireball gimmick at the end.
What about the aftermath? The long drawn out commercial break, Keith Lee crying in the back, and they dragged that shit out.
Listen, I'm all right with it. It's just a matter that they sacrificed Drake Maverick and Killian Dane for that purpose, and I'm not okay with that.
Well, yes, since you say their name, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick are about to start their match, and they're still pretty much have the two shots going at the same time, equally as important. Not Keith Lee in the little corner. Not that Keith Lee isn't important, but you got to find a better way. The match starts, and there you still see Keith Lee on camera.
Yeah.
So I thought that was weird. It was like, if it's that serious, you wouldn't continue the show. Or
come back to it.
Yeah, come back to it. Or check on him after the match. Or what, there's a billion ways about telling the whole world that Drake Maverick is no longer important after he got over on his own. And now you've let that go to waste. As hard as it is to get over in the COVID era, someone gets over and that's it.
Well, once I saw, was this match announced last week or something? Did you guys know this match was happening?
No,
I didn't notice.
No, so I'll tell you, when Killian Dane came out, I literally went, "Oh, why is he fighting Drake Maverick?" I'm literally like, "Ugh." So I'm glad the match went how it went, to be honest.
All right. Well, I guess.
Vic, you want to say what happened?
Well, I guess to make them look even, if you want to shit on them a little more, the Undisputed Era is gonna come out and beat the shit out of both of them, which is cool. Cool for the Undisputed Era. And then Adam Cole's gonna cut a nice promo, a very, very good promo,
very good.
on Pat McAfee.
Ooh.
He called him out. Well, he says he wants to see him face to face, right? So he could tell him how he's gonna beat his ass.
Yep.
Something like that.
Should Adam Cole be afraid of Pat McAfee, the punter?
Well, they showed some training video of Pat McAfee, or I don't know where I saw it, but I saw some training video. This dude is a freak athlete.
Well, he's a big dude compared to Adam Cole.
He's a big. Well, he's not big. Yeah, compared to Adam Cole, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in pretty good shape still. He's still very, very athletic.
He doesn't look like a punter.
No, he's a little bit more jacked than a punter. Clearly, he has a finishing move, a punt kick.
Way to go for taking Randy Orton's gimmick from him.
Hey, at least he's a real punter, so it's
while Randy's using it on TV.
Well, he doesn't have to do it exactly the same way.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'll be a different variation.
Hopefully, it's a kick to the balls.
So, Lou, you're not happy with you just want Pat McAfee to go away. What if he turns out to have a good match and he just wants to continue being a wrestler? He might be the next Ronda Rousey.
Dude, bro.
Again,
Vic, when I heard you say he might be the next, I was expecting Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, hell no. Robert Gronkowski was.
He might be the next.
Gronkowski wasn't comfortable on the camera. Pat McAfee is clearly very comfortable on the camera, very comfortable on the mic. He has this heelish persona. That stuff he has down. Is whether or not he can actually have a match. And can he improve as a wrestler if he wants to be a wrestler? We won't know until TakeOver.
Yeah. Listen, this is one of those things where how can I Killian Dane and Drake Maverick are both of them, when they saw the creative of this match, they should have just both walked out and just be like, you know what, screw it, I'm not gonna do this. You're putting them both in a completely undesirable position. Neither one of them, both of them, they're not over at all. They're both as flat as can be. Killian Dane hadn't been used forever, and then Drake Maverick, after the Cruiserweight tournament where he was the sentimental favorite and became and got over with that, then got his contract back with the WWE, and then what happens? You basically make him irrelevant within a month or two. Just whatever. We're not going to use you at the place you were supposed to be at. Yeah, the Undisputed Era come out, and then they beat these two guys up. So, My question is sometimes at the Undisputed Era, it's just like, are you heels or baby faces? Because you're technically kicking the crap out of everybody. So that's a heelish thing to do. And then Adam Cole is cutting potentially a babyface promo against a heel, a clear heel and Pat McAfee. So you got to come up with another way. The Undisputed Era, Adam Cole could have cut that exact same promo without having to do the garbage that they did to Maverick and Killian Dane. They did it last week. Okay, that was fine. To Imperium. You want to know why it makes sense? Because they're going to get a payoff against Imperium sooner or later. Are they going to fight? Are they going to fight Killian Dane and Drake Maverick? The answer more than likely is going to be no. So why do it? Stupid.
Yeah.
You repeated the exact same thing for the purpose of giving Adam Cole promo time. Adam Cole could just walk into the middle of a match. He could have walked right in the middle of the ring, slapped both of those guys in the mouth, taken the mic, and cut a promo. And it would have been the exact same thing by himself. Unnecessary. I get it. I get why they're doing it, but it was unnecessary. And they basically pissed on Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, which is the wrong thing to do. Those guys deserve way better than that. It's horrible.
I'll say this. It hurt Killian Dane more than Drake Maverick. If anything, it helped Drake Maverick to be in the ring at the same time with Undisputed Era. Killian Dane, not good.
It helped neither guy. This was
It
did listen.
did more damage to Killian
Well,
as a monster.
Well,
listen, Killian. Listen, neither one of those two guys are going to be able, after wrestling against each other, we're not going to be able to even if they paired up 4 against 2 against the Undisputed Era, they were going nowhere. It was going to be the exact same result. It's just a matter that on the front end of that match, you basically make the match not important by showing Keith Lee's stuff. And
That
then
match was not important.
And then on the back, but they just
once
squeezed it.
Killian Dane came out, I'm like, all right, I don't even want to watch this.
Yeah, it's
Let me
just
fast forward this.
Listen, this is one of those matches where, again, I feel bad for both of these guys because they were put in a very, very unenviable position. This was a no-win situation for either one of those guys. They were completely screwed in however this is going to be laid out. Unfortunately for both of them, because now moving forward, you have 2 guys now that you really are going to have to rehab them if you want to use them again.
all right. So on the other side, we have the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson versus the Young Bucks.
I'm like, wait, Dark Order didn't show up to NXT, did they?
You thought it was an
channel, brother.
You thought
like,
it was
holy crap, that would be amazing.
You thought it was an invasion?
DX style.
An invasion. Imagine that. So it starts off pretty back and forth. Eventually, we're gonna try to use the advantage. I don't know how many guys they had outside. 3?
3 on the floor. There are 2 guys in the ring and 3 on the floor.
Yeah, so it was 2 guys in the ring, 3 on the floor. The 3 guys on the floor are gonna kind of have Matt Jackson trapped. You didn't like that spot? I thought that was very creative.
I guess so.
I've never seen that before.
Dying right now. That's so funny, dude. He is dying.
I'll tell you when it's my turn to talk.
Yeah. But then, while Matt is blocked off, Nick was still able to pretty much steal the win. Yeah. Chris?
Man, did I forget this match? I watched this match.
You know what, Chris? It's probably a good thing you don't remember it, man.
So let's start with Lou.
Lou, remind me. I remember enjoying the match. I thought that spot was when they laid him out up top and just stood there like he was in a club was kind of weird, but I remember enjoying the match. Go ahead, Lou. Remind me.
I'll say this. This match was not horrible. It wasn't horrible. The first thing the first thing I can remember hearing is, Justin Roberts announcing the Young Bucks at a total combined weight of 390 pounds.
Yeah, that threw me off.
Dude,
I do remember.
do me a
I'm
favor. AEW, do me a favor. Lie. Add another 20 pounds to these guys.
Yeah,
They're a tag team at 390 pounds. They sound like two small children. Lie.
I literally did the math. I'm like, so let's say one is.
That means they're 185 a pop.
Yeah. I'm like, one's heavier than the other, sure.
I'm sorry, no, 195.
Matt is the more brolic brother.
Nick is 160.
Is, you can say that they're a total combined weight of 410, 415, 420, and you can believe it that each one can go 205, 210. You can believe it.
I was definitely thrown off by the weight.
Lie. The Dark Order minions, jumped the Young Bucks from behind to set up Uno and Grayson's entrance. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, I could dig that. The Dark Order are getting the heat on the Young Bucks. That's the right thing to do. All right, they got jumped. They got jumped 3-on-2, and then the other two opponents come into the ring. The right thing to do. Then it's 2-on-1 in the ring. Apparently, the Dark Order minions thought that Matt Jackson was taking a nap because literally a minute later, he's flying off the stage, lands on all three of them. And I'm like, that spot's not needed at that particular moment. I'll say this. I was glad that Rick Knox was counting. He was actually really being, I know that no one in AEW is listening to this show, but at least I'm glad that, my cries are being heard.
You and JR.
Yeah.
Fucking JR can't help himself but mention the referees every 6 minutes.
I will say this. I was happy that these guys were trying to work a tag team match. The problem is that the baby faces would get no comeback. Dark Order just keeps cutting them off. When the Young Bucks make a tag, and if Nick Jackson is in the ring and he's in trouble and you got him down and he makes the tag, you got to let Matt Jackson get his offense in on the two of you. And what has to happen well, yes, but
no, it was Nick. I'm sorry. I think it was Nick because he literally got in the camera and said, "Best comeback in the business."
Yeah.
Am
Whatever.
I right?
Yeah, I'm sure. But the thing is that at that point, you got the three minions on the floor. The utilization for them at that point is so that they can get on the apron, distract the referee, do a cutoff spot, something. But that's the way to get the young, whichever Nick or Matt, whichever one is in the ring, kicking Grayson and Uno's ass, they go after them, and then that's when they get cut off. It's 5 against 2. Like, utilize them. They're not. Then the Dark Order get a cut. They get a cutoff on Matt Jackson. They start getting heat on him, so he gets thrown out to the floor, right in front of the three minions. And then I believe Grayson or Uno, I know one of them was out there with him. So it's 4-on-1 on the floor. Nick Jackson's watching this the entire time on the corner, does absolutely nothing to help his brother. Then Matt goes under the ring and comes out the other side, which is creative. All right, I'll give him that's a creative spot. But then he's going to go for the tag, and Nick Jackson is literally like, it can't be any more than a foot away from him. And they have to go through this whole big thing until, one of the Dark Order guys comes in to cut him off. And I'm like, what Nick needs to do is you go to the further side of the corner so that when Matt's going to reach you, he can get cut off. And as soon as you move into the other side of the corner to try to get closer, Dark Order's already there. They pulled him. That's how you tell that particular thing. Let's see, what else? The one thing that I will say here is that I really don't like the spot that Uno does where he gives his opponent's leg to the referee and then he does the neck breaker. It's an okay spot to do, but you can't do it in every match. It almost seems like that's a particular spot that Uno does, and you'd figure that the referees would be smart enough to be like, all right, he's going to do this nonsense. I'm going to step away.
They'll give you that soon. That's what I love with AEW. They'll give you that soon. It's coming.
You could do that occasionally, but you can't do that in every match. Again, with the Young Bucks, I'm always going to have to be expecting gymnastics in their matches. That's exactly what they do. They go to the gymnastic spot, then they do the reverse Rana, which I just absolutely hate. The reverse Rana should be a devastating move, and not just any Dick, Tom, or Harry should be doing it. There's certain moves that You got to reserve them for either specific talents or specific spots, and it almost seems like that reverse round is done by every dude in just about any situation. No. Again, I wrote, if it's 5-on-2 in Order of the Dark Order, why are the minions not doing anything? Why are they just standing on the floor? Help your guys win. Uno should not have kicked when the Young Bucks got their comeback and they actually got the Dark Order down. Evil Uno should not have kicked out of that double team offense that the Young Bucks hit on him. That should have won the match. Again, this is a point where the minions can get on the apron, distract the referee. That's when Rick Knox has to run them off. There's 100 other ways to do that, because when Uno kicks out of that double team offense, it's like, again, I know that we're establishing the Dark Order, and we're slowly establishing them to try to get them over. But the Young Bucks are the quote unquote the best team in AEW. Dark Order should not be kicking out of what should be double team finishers. They shouldn't be doing that. The one thing that I will say is that for some reason, I just thought that Evil Uno really walked funny in this match. Like, there was like one point where it looked like he was almost waddling. It looked kind of funny when I saw it on TV. Then they go to the spot where they, the three minions take, Matt Jackson and they throw him into the tunnel. And I'm like, all right. So this is cool, and then they stand there looking like security guards. And then Nick Jackson, pins Uno and wins the match. And I'm thinking the Bucks win 2-on-5. Why? Like, this is an easy story to tell, to give Uno and Grayson a big win. Considering that last week Brody Lee beat Hangman when it was 6-on-3.5. Why couldn't the Dark Order 5-on-2 beat the Young Bucks? Makes no sense. That's a match for the Dark Order to win, because they can easily cheat. You're not taking away any steam away from the Young Bucks with them losing 5-on-2. Makes sense. Yeah. When the Dark Order loses 2-on-5, I'm sorry, that doesn't make those guys look any tougher. I don't care
Especially if you're making them that main faction, because we haven't really seen the Inner Circle as much as we used to. Now we're seeing the Dark Order. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
All I'm saying is that if you're gonna try to establish the Dark Order as anything in AEW, you have to win. Doesn't matter how. They're heels. They can cheat. They don't have to win clean.
Yeah.
5-against-2. And I'm sorry, listen, with all due respect to Nick and Matt Jackson, these guys are not Andre the Giant. They're small guys physically. They should lose 5-against-2. They should lose. It's okay. The fact that they won this match actually was really, I thought that this was an okay match. There was some semblance of tag team wrestling, and they were working within the rules, and everything was, they slowly but surely the matches are starting to get better, but the finish was still bad. Young Bucks needed to lose. So, other than that, the match wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. It's just that the end result, no good.
All right, since we're talking about the Young Bucks, there was also the Tag Team Appreciation Night. There was Arn and Tully and the Rock and Roll Express in the ring with the Young Bucks and the FTR. And, of course, the Rock and Roll Express and the Bucks are kind of, similar. So the Bucks are putting them over and Rock and Roll Express are putting them over. So FTR is going to do the same thing with Arn and Tully. And Arn puts FTR over. He's like, this is the best tag team. And Tully, who's like, I like that they found a way to get him another promo, like another fired up Tully promo. Because when Tully first got here, he was doing like these regular promos. And I was thinking, damn, Tully's a little rusty with the promos. He's not that good anymore. But, when he chewed up, what's his name?
Chairman.
Sean Spears.
When he chewed up Spears, I was like, oh, shit, that might be the best promo of the year. So they gave him another opportunity to chew some guys out. So
he killed it.
Bitter, nasty, angry Tully. I like him. That dude chewed in, you guys don't have the titles. How can you call yourself the best? Whatever. And you see Sean Spears creeping up, and I like that Arn being a veteran. He's like, I see what's going on here. I'm getting out of here. And the big moment here is, of course, FTR are gonna. They have a name for that move, but I forgot. Oh, it's similar to Brainbusters, like Skull Crushing or whatever. It's like a play on the Brainbuster name. I gotta go look for it, but
That
either way,
Spike Driver looked devastating. Ricky Morton took
That shit was vicious, man.
Morton
Yeah,
took
they-
I saw it. I said, "Ooh,
that was awesome. Again, AEW using the legends the right way. You got Ricky Morton, who's a beast at taking moves and selling. So let's put a devastating move on him, and of course, he made it look like $1 million. And finally, FTR, in your face, tells you, we are heels. No more games. We are heels.
Thank goodness.
I'm sure they're still gonna be cool with Hangman though. They love that guy.
Well, yeah, Hangman. I like that Hangman and Kenny came out because you're the fucking champion. These two teams are being touted as the best tag teams in the world, but you guys have had the belts for months. And not for nothing, those two are killing it to me. I thought they've been putting in work, both of them. Hangman, I'm impressed with him at first. At the start of AEW, wasn't in love with him. Lately, loving his work. And Kenny, we'll get to it. But this was my favorite part of the entire show. This segment right here was fucking awesome. I was just letting it, giggling, laughing at every little, back and forth. Laughing at the punch on Tully, which started the whole kerfuffle.
So bad.
The knee brace coming off, and like you're distracted, and then he's taking it off slowly, and then Dash holds it and uses it. My favorite segment of the entire night was this here. On a good show, overall good show, but this segment was the highlight for me.
I mean, this segment was okay. I mean, I just thought to myself, it's like,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you. This is FTR. This is FTR Tag Team Appreciation Night, right? So, why are the Young Bucks out there?
No, it wasn't FTR Tag Team
FTR,
Appreciation
it's
Night.
tag
It was the
team
entire
overall.
AEW Tag Team Appreciation Night.
Well, when you see the logo, it said it was FTR. Like that's FTR. That was FTR's deal. So here's
you guys.
all I'm saying is like when the Young Bucks. I remember when Matt Jackson calling the Rock and Roll Express the original Young Bucks. I laughed so hard.
Why did you laugh?
I laughed because I was just like, listen, the Young Bucks in this particular case are baby faces. So my position would have been like, I don't necessarily want you to put yourself in the same vein as the Rock and Roll Express. Let them do it to you. Let them be the ones that put you in their vein. Don't do it first. That's the reason why I laughed, because I was like, this is ridiculous that Matt Jackson would say that. Let Ricky Morton or Robert Gibson say that, not you. Yeah, I know that they subsequently did it afterwards, but don't intro yourself that way or intro them that way. I
just think when something is obvious, just because you're a babyface doesn't mean you just go, I'm not going to say something that's it's like the elephant in the room.
Who cares? They're baby faces. Let them be humble.
I don't think they come off as cocky in saying that they pretty much said, look, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. That's a humble thing to say.
No,
The Rockers
and the Rockers, like it's pretty much.
Well, yeah, they didn't call them by name, but yeah, they Sean and Marty,
yeah,
Matt and Jeff. I get it. With Dax, he cut a really good promo. Like the stuff that Dax talked about came from the heart. That in terms of the Rock and Roll Express, the Horsemen, all those guys really creating the tag team scene that made FTR essentially who they are. Influencing them the way that it was. When Tully Blanchard started, use Chris's term, spitting bars, I loved it. because in all honesty, it felt like it was a mutual admiration society, and it felt like a fairly boring segment until Tully spoke. When Tully spoke, it was like, okay, Tully basically came out and said, hey, I'm glad that you guys all think you're the best, but you do know that the benchmark for this is being the tag team champions, which is the correct thing to do. Because guess what? Fans, listen, I think FTR is the best tag team in the world, but they're not the AEW champions. So it's okay to say, no, you're second best. You're number 2 at best. The Young Bucks, I'll disagree with any fan that comes to me and says the Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world. I have my reasons why. But guess what? If you're going to call yourself the best tag team in the world and you're not the champions of your own promotion, give me a break. So that's why I'm glad that Tully did that. When Shawn Spears came out, it was obvious. Listen, Shawn Spears' entrance there was not really necessary. It was used as a way to get Tully out of there and begin the schmoz. So that was the only purpose for Spears coming out. That's fine. That's the only purpose he served. When FTR laid out the Rock and Roll Express, I was like, good. Make them heels. Finally. When Ricky Morton took that spike pile driver, he took it like a champ. And I was like, Ricky Morton I don't know how old Ricky Morton is, but for any pro wrestler, watch that video and watch it back and watch it back and watch it back as many times as it takes. Because he took that like a champ. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, wow, he really took it well. And so it served the purpose of turning FTR full-blown heels. Good. When Hangman and Omega came out, I understand why they came out, but at the same time, again, and we'll get to this when we talk about, when Kenny and Hangman wrestled against the Jurassic Express, as to why I feel that there's, it comes across a little weird, because Kenny Omega came across looking like a heel in that tag team match, and yet he's coming out acting like a complete babyface, and I'm like, okay, there's like little subtleties there, and it almost seems like them coming out there at that particular moment, considering the match that they had with the Jurassic Express earlier in the show, didn't really seem, there was a little some things that didn't connect very well. I did laugh. I laughed when I saw Hangman with the drink. So he's in full gear, got the belt, has the drink. I'm like, sweet Jesus, dude. So I laughed at that. But it's like, it is what it is. But I think that with Hangman and Omega, there could have been a better usage of them in that segment if they really wanted to do it. But overall, if the purpose was to turn FTR full blown heel, successful. Other than that, some parts I like more than others. Tully was great. FTR was great. The Rock and Roll Express, God bless him. Ricky Morton is awesome. With Aaron and the Young Bucks, I can go without him in this particular scene.
Okay. Completely. Arn started the whole thing. If Arn wasn't there, it wouldn't have went down.
Correct. But it just there's a lot there. Like sometimes with Arn, there are moments where I know why he's out there, but there just seems like moments where we can find other ways. It just seem like you get a lot of people out there, and you're trying to tell a lot of different stories. So they succeeded in what the ultimate goal was, is to turn FTR full blown heel. That was successful. All the other parts, you can debate whether you like them or not.
All right. We had the Robert Stone brand, Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez versus Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. I don't even know what to say.
This was bad. This was very, very bad.
I mean, I don't really care for this match, but we can go to the ending. Because Rhea Ripley
I like, before you jump in, I like the subtleties of Mercedes Lewis just brushing them off. I like that. Especially going off of what Lou said last week, where, it might seem like Robert Stone is bringing her along, but she's really carrying them on her back. So I like the subtleties of her, like, come on, bro. Like, I'm just here for the name. Like, I'm not your buddy. I enjoyed that. But the match could pretty much do without it. I hate to do that, but could do without the match until, that.
Yeah, we're gonna get Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez going at it. Aaliyah's gonna try to help. Mercedes is gonna kind of push her off. That was weird. But then they start double teaming Rhea, and then Shotzi Blackheart's gonna make the save. So you got Aaliyah and Shotzi Blackheart going at it. Mercedes and Rhea going at it. But Mercedes and Aaliyah pretty much get their asses handed to them. So, yeah, I'm starting to think that Mercedes is just going to be a regular girl. And when I first saw her, I was thinking, this is like the 10th time I said this, I've never seen a female with a presence like this, like a scary, I mean, I guess you could say Scarlett has a little bit of a nice presence there too, but I'm talking about a wrestler. She has like her entrance, I was like, this is like the female Undertaker. Like, I am shook of her when she comes out. Like, she's going to kill everyone. And maybe not. Maybe she's just here, maybe they look at her, she's 40 years old. They're like, just help these girls get over, go out here, have good matches. But we got nothing else for you, kid.
Yeah, I don't know if this match and the segment that followed was to build up the tag division.
No. It's to build up Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez having a match at TakeOver.
So why do they need shot? Oh, whatever. Yeah.
I guess Shotzi has beef with Aaliyah. So.
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
This match sucked. This match sucked on multiple levels. Now, listen, Kacy Catanzaro and Kayden Carter look like a good underneath tag team. They look good as a team together. If you make them an underneath team, you utilize them. They can beat enhancement talents so that they can get some wins, and then they put over other talent on those talents way up. That's how you utilize them. So as soon as Robert Stone and Aaliyah walk to the ring, that's totally fine. Then, Mercedes Martinez is, has her ring entrance. They do the whole close-up pan. Everything looks cool. She starts walking to the ring, and then Aaliyah's like standing side by side, literally, tucking onto her arm. You freaking idiots. The way that you book it is that Mercedes Martinez is the badass. Aaliyah and Robert Stone should be scared pitsless of this woman. That's how you book it. She should not be chummy walking side by side with Mercedes Martinez, because look at the presentation. You could not get a more drastic juxtaposition between the two personas. They don't fit. Mercedes needs to walk into the ring. Match. Mercedes needs to walk into the ring on her own, and Aaliyah needs to be like 3 or 4 steps behind her with Robert Stone because they're afraid of her. Damn it. It's not that hard. Robert Stone cuts an okay promo, right? And I'm like, all right, that would be cool if Robert Stone cut his promo and that'd be the end of it. You don't have, because then you know what they do? They want to recruit Kacy Catanzaro. Kacy basically then, little tiny woman, like 4'9", maybe weighs 100 pounds, and she basically foils Robert Stone, make him look like a fool. Robert Stone has zero equity. You can't have those things happen. You're trying to make him a comedian, but the only way the comedy works is that people have to take the comedian seriously. Come on. Psychology is not that hard. Mercedes Martinez should be bumping for nobody outside of Rhea Ripley. Kacy Catanzaro and Kayden Carter should have gotten this much offense on Mercedes. 0. Mercedes is being built to be the monster that only Rhea Ripley could take down. And then you got 2 little women just tossing her and bumping her all over the ring. So what's Aaliyah there for? Why is Mercedes selling for Kacy Catanzaro? And then Kacy Catanzaro gets a 2 count. on Mercedes Martinez, and Aaliyah has to save her.
Yep.
Why? Why? WWE, can you not get this right? It is just so ridiculously, stupidly in front of you. You have a monster heel that you can build for your top babyface, Rhea Ripley, to have to take down. And you have two underneath tiny women bumping her around and coming within an eyelash of beating her. It's stupid. Oh, my God. Mercedes Martinez then hits a move on Casey, pins her 1, 2, 3. Fine, whatever. At this point, Mercedes Martinez has already been squashed. She's already been buried.
This match went 8 minutes too long. And
then Rhea Ripley, what ends up happening? They play Rhea Ripley's music, and then she does her whole entrance. Why? If you want to play the music, which is stupid enough already, if you want to play her music, that's fine. Let her run to the ring and get what she wants. Get her hands on Mercedes Martinez. Not do your whole entrance, not do all that. It's stupid. WWE, please stop doing that. Then they go, Rhea Ripley and Mercedes go one-on-one. Rhea starts getting the upper hand on Mercedes. That's fine. Aaliyah comes in. You know what Aaliyah does? You're like a mosquito. You hit Rhea. If she registers it just long enough so that she could grab Aaliyah, toss her like a sack of garbage, and then Mercedes gets the advantage. What ends up happening there? Then you have Shotzi Blackheart, who comes out and does the save. Okay, you know what you do if you're Shotzi Blackheart? You take down Aaliyah, and then Rhea Ripley gets the advantage on Mercedes. Not Shotzi Blackheart bumping Mercedes out of the ring. So you had Shotzi Blackheart, Casey Catanzaro, and Kaden Carter, all three of them bumping Mercedes Martinez around, and Rhea Ripley, the only person who should be doing it, doesn't. That match now, I could care less about wanting to see that match because Mercedes Martinez now looks like any other woman on the roster. Way to go, WWE. Good job. Garbage.
Okay,
move along, Vic. Hurry up.
We got Kenny Hangman versus Jurassic Express.
This will get Lou in good spirits.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, besides Marco's stunt, I think this was pretty good, even for Lou.
It was a good match.
Yeah, let's see. I'm pulling my notes here.
Anyway, yeah, good back and forth. There was some, the little interactions Marco's stunt has been having with Kenny Omega. There's beef there. It's funny, I know, but at least we're sticking to, the story. We're not going to make believe that they already booked it. So we can't act like it never happened.
I guess.
I mean, in my opinion, you can't act like it never happened. You have to remember your beefs. I know it's hard, but
no, you're
act like what never happened.
Marco Stunt and Kenny got beef, man. They got smoke, bro.
I think that's a subtlety to show you Kenny's ready to snap. I think that's what that is. I think that's serving the purpose to show you, Kenny might turn. I think it's more that than
he's definitely going to turn, but no, Marco Stunt started the interactions. He comes out, he sees Kenny, and he's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then Kenny looks like a bully.
Well, yeah, Kenny.
That if the small child is picking a fight with you first.
Well, they don't like each other. I think this is a mutual feeling. Chris, in case you forgot, they had a match. I don't know if it was a 3-on-3, but I think it was a 3-on-3. And after the match, Kenny kept hitting Marco. Kept hitting after the bell, after everything. And everybody was like, that was the first hint. Like, oh, okay, Kenny's going to turn. We don't know when, but he's going to turn. Either way, to me, this was good back and forth stuff. They didn't ignore the Marco Stunt beef. But eventually they're gonna hit Jungle Boy, right? With the buckshot lariat.
Yeah. Jungle
Boy takes the pin. 1, 2, 3. Get him out of here. I mean, I thought this was fun, man. I thought this was solid.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match. I thought it was fun. I'm trying to remember any issues that Lou reminded me a couple of things. I'm
Well,
sure.
Lou's not gonna like that. I don't like it either. I don't like that a babyface team is gonna try to cheat basically, because that's what they do. Every time Marco Stunt gets in the ring, it's cheating. Doesn't matter if especially if the heels, and there is no heels in this match. But if the opposing team is not doing anything to deserve it, you shouldn't do it. That's always gonna be a beef with me too. I agree with that
Marco
one.
and throwing him, yeah.
Yeah, like you need to earn that spot. You need to earn it. You need to do something, cheat first, so that now the baby faces can cheat in return. That's when it's fun, when the baby faces get their their heat back basically.
And they're not, and in that case, it's not cheating. That's just called turnabout is fair play. That's all it is.
Oh, I can't hear you. Can you
You
hear
can't-
him, Chris?
I heard him. Yeah, I heard him.
That just
Oh, I
means
can't hear
turnabout. That just means turnabout is fair play. Chris, go ahead, man. I'll let you.
Yeah. I mean, Jurassic Express is what it is. I don't remember if Jungle Boy got enough of his stuff in. I was impressed with Luchasaurus. I mean, dude did I think he did a choke slam and then a standing backflip.
Yeah, that's part of his comeback. Yep.
Mhm.
Always impressive for a dude his size. Some of the stuff he does. I liked Kenny and Hangman reversing some of his moves, his 2-on-1 that makes sense. You shouldn't be getting a double choke slam on these two guys, whatever it was. But more than anything, I'm really enjoying Kenny and Hangman's work. I remember early on thinking Hangman was going to be the one to turn, and now they flipped the script, and you see the little subtleties. Kenny taking extra shots, and he's talking shit. He's getting in these guys' faces, just running to the corner and getting a cheap shot in. Trying to think back of some other stuff in the same match. Yeah, I'm just enjoying Kenny and Hangman a lot.
Yeah, I mean this. Excuse me. This match had a couple of things. I mean, it's weird because I like Jurassic Express. I like the team of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I hate the fact that Marco Stunt is a part of this team. I think Marco Stunt, with all due respect, he's useless to the team. He really is. I will say, Luchasaurus, please don't ever cut a promo. You know, when you're talking about 65 minutes, please don't do that. Just.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, just don't do that. I thought Hangman looks like a star. He really, really does. I'm not convinced about Kenny Omega, and it's gonna take a while. I'm not convinced about Kenny.
Disrespectful.
I'm not convinced about Kenny at all. Marco Stunt, please put on a shirt. Like, why are you shirtless out there? I don't care how hot it is. Put on a shirt. The beginning of the match, Kenny is acting a little heelish again on Jungle Boy. That's okay. Little by little. Marco Stunt comes into the ring, and Kenny baby slaps him. I'm like, no. If you're gonna be the heel, you slap Marco, especially when he's basically disrupting a championship match. You smack him to establish that, hey, you small little child. If you step into the ring against grown men, this is what's gonna happen to you. Let them know that quick, so that you can establish whether you want to establish yourself as a heel or not. Doesn't matter, but it's a matter of just getting him out and making sure he gets out. The fact that the announcers are talking about Marco Stunt getting too froggy, that basically is an indicator that I'm like, all right, this is like something that they want to focus on. And I'm like, Marco Stunt should not be a focal point at all in anything that Jurassic Express is doing, especially if they're wrestling for the tag team titles. It's just not, especially that Kenny and Hangman are not heels. So really, Marco Stunt should have absolutely zero to do in this match, except stand out there and watch. There was one double team move that Jurassic Express did that looked really awkward on Kenny Omega, and I just think it was a communication issue in the ring. I don't like the backslap tags. I know that that's a thing now in all of pro wrestling, but I just hate that backslap tag. Find a more creative way to do the blind tag kind of thing. Find a better way to do it. Hangman Page again. I really like Hangman. He looked really, really smooth out there. He was working. He's smooth. He looks like a major star. The announcers, I will say this, a note to the announcers. Please stop, giving me foolish cartoon. Well, I don't want to call it cartoony, but they're joking about, the hashtag thing in the picture-in-picture. Dude, there's a title match on your screen. Act the part and give the guys in the ring the just respect and due that's deserved to them in the situation they're in. I don't give a shit about the picture-in-picture. Stop promoting it.
JR with the picture-in-picture. God
All right.
damn, it's like, is he getting paid?
I don't know. It's like
a little extra.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's awful. When Jungle Boy, the one thing I didn't like was when Kenny and Hangman were double teaming Jungle Boy, hitting him with the chops. It's a good double team spot. Jungle Boy should not have made any comeback there. You're getting your ass whooped by two grown ass men. It's called getting heat. Stay down. Take your punishment. Don't fight back. That's not the moment to do it. Take your ass whipping and go down. You'll get another spot later. Jungle Boy did too many high risk moves in this match, and there was one that he messed up, and it was a matter that he couldn't get his foot on the rope. Hangman did a good job of covering him up and leaving him there, and then going after Luchasaurus. He did a good job there. There was a bad placement of the hot tag with Luchasaurus because they did it, during the picture-in-picture. Can't do that. You got to get out of there faster. Did I mention that I hate the backslap tag? Honestly, the match at the end, this was a good match until the ending sequence because it became a tornado tag team match, which I didn't like. It's like there's no need for that. You have a good match going. Marco Stunt, the fact that Marco Stunt interfered again in the match after Kenny Omega grabbed him and did the Snapdragon suplex on the floor is ridiculous. I will say this. I believe that Kenny Omega was established as the heel in this match only because he was the only guy. He could not sustain offense for his team. It almost seemed like every time that Kenny Omega, was trying to do a singular offense in the match, Jurassic Express was able to cut him off. It almost seems like there's like a subtle thing there to where Hangman is able to maintain control of the match, but Kenny can't. So there's like these little subtle things, there. Again, I thought the match for the most part was good. I'd say about maybe 3/4 of the match was really good. Then the ending sequence just became a car crash, tornado-style match, which I thought actually ruined the match. There's no need for it. You can do a little bit of it, but you got to be able – you can't have all four guys in the ring just doing stuff to each other. It was like 3 minutes. Again, I understand it's the end sequence. It's not necessary. You could do it for 30 seconds or a minute. You got to get somebody out of the ring, and then one team double teams the second partner in the ring, 1, 2, 3. You don't need all that jazz. So yeah, I just thought to myself, I enjoyed the match for the most part. I really did. I just thought that the match went too far in the end with the car crash stuff, and I thought that it ruined the match in the end. The right team did win. Hangman and Kenny are doing very well. I thought Jurassic Express, performed very well, with the exception of course of Marco Stunt. The less I see of him, but other than that,
I agree.
The match was not bad. It really wasn't. It's just again with AEW is that it almost seems like they can't leave Better Off alone. It almost seems like they got to take that that one extra step that kind of ruins the recipe. It's like if you would have just left it right there, man, it's perfect. You leave it right there. It's perfect for what you're trying to accomplish. But they always take it that one extra step, and that's what goofs it up for me.
Okay, we had Damien Priest versus Bronson Reed. This is two of the participants in that 5-way for the North American title at TakeOver. And right away I noticed that Priest is smiling his ass off during his entrance, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't want to see this guy smiling. But I guess it's part of the story because he's gonna be a little too confident. He thinks he's got an easy matchup with Bronson Reed here, and right away Bronson Reed shows him, I got some power, boy. He kind of muscles him out. I thought that that showed right away that Bronson he's gonna compete with him basically. Eventually Priest is gonna throw him into the steps. That's when he takes over. He's gonna hit the big Falcon Arrow, gets a near fall. Reed's gonna kick out, and then eventually he goes for that tsunami. I think he missed it, but then he gets that jackknife pin. 1, 2, 3, kind of steals one, I think the match served its purpose because no one in the world thinks Bronson Reed's gonna do anything at this 5-way. No one even wants him in the match. I mean, I'm sure some people like him, but that damn 5-way is just. It's like they have. If you rank all the NXT players, it's like they got the guys who are not in the top 10, all fighting for the North American title. We got to see who else is gonna join the match, but later on we find another person. But either way, it served this purpose. They want you to take Bronson Reed serious, and hopefully now you do.
Yeah. Priest came out. Yeah, I agree with you. He came out a little smiley. What I did like from him from jump, and I don't know if he does this often. I think he should implement it more. He was leaning on the turnbuckle and he was just like bored, like not impressed. I would personally like to see that a little bit more. He's just laid back, like rather than smiling and that excitement is just whatever. I actually really like the guy. I remember seeing him when we went. I forgot where we saw him, but New Orleans.
We saw him on a Ring of Honor show during WrestleMania weekend, and
Punishment Martinez.
Yeah, as Punishment Martinez, the crowd was chanting Roman Reigns at him because he kind of used to look like Roman Reigns, and it sucks because I never liked him. I still kind of don't like him, and I want to like him because he's he's from New York. He's Puerto Rican. I want to represent like I do with all my Puerto Rican wrestlers, but I don't know. There's something about him that's off to me. You know what I hate? And Morrow needs to stop this immediately. Morrow, 2 weeks in a row, calls this man a martial artist. And I'm like, what does that mean? What kind of martial arts does he do? Because if wrestling is real in this world, it is too a martial art. So everyone is a martial artist. So is he a jiu-jitsu player? Because when he throws his kicks, they look like shit, especially in this match.
Yeah.
Not compared to wrestlers. I'm talking about compared to a taekwondo, compared to Joe Rogan, who's a taekwondo.
Who's the best kicker in the world.
Yeah, who's a stud, or anyone, Anderson Silva, any fighter who's ever seen someone throw a legit kick, and then you see this guy's kicks, and I'm like, okay, don't call him a martial artist unless you're going to tell me what's his discipline.
He mentioned the martial arts while he's jumping over.
Yeah, I hope it's not a martial art that has kicking involved. The most realistic martial artist besides like a Riddle is probably a Thatcher. Right? He's the one that comes off more believable than everybody else, if you ask me, because we know what he does, we know his style, and he knocks it out the park every time. But either way, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, the highlight for me in this match was, other than Reed winning, was Priest trying to suplex him like 4 times. He kept going for it. I'm like, there's no way he can do this. And then he actually does the Falcon Arrow, which looked sick to me. That was a highlight of the match for me. But shit. Sorry, this thing is dying on me. That was the highlight of the match for me personally. But besides that, yeah, I like the times I've seen Bronson Reed. I like him. I'm impressed with his strength, especially the way he moves at his size. My concern is there's a bunch of guys that kind of resemble his body. Probably not his shape per se, but there's several guys that do his moveset.
Well, the short 300.
They start to
the short 300-pound guy, like an Otis. I don't think that we've said this about him before, Lou. I don't think if he was next to an Otis or a Big E, I think Bronson Reed would look small.
Or
I think it works in NXT because almost everyone is pretty thin. Like even the brolic guys are on the thinner side.
That's just my concern.
He looks
they
big
start comparing
in
with
front
these
of
other guys.
in front of Otis, I'm pretty sure he would look like a baby.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, the thing is with Bronson Reed is that this match completely served its purpose, because here's what ends up happening, right? Whatever, 3 weeks ago when 3-4 weeks ago when Bronson Reed won the first qualifying match, you and I, Vic, sat here and said, why the hell did he win this match? And I'm sure that WWE, when they were booking it, they knew that they were going to run into that hurdle. So obviously what they did, and they've done successfully, is they tell the story of, hey, he was an underdog and he, you know, and he won an upset match. Considering that he was wrestling against Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong, and that he's literally twice as big as either one of them, but it was still an upset. On its face, looks ridiculous, but considering that Gargano and Strong have wrestled so many high-profile matches on NXT, it makes perfect sense. So what you're doing with this match is that obviously, you know, the announcers are saying, hey, Damien Priest was a favorite, so now Damien Priest wins his match last week. He goes and then he looks at Bronson Reed and basically calls his win a fluke. So obviously, it's like, if somebody tells you, hey, you won in a fluke, obviously the person's going to take exception to that where this match comes into play. These guys both work the big man style. Listen, I look at Damien Priest and I think he looks like a star. You know, yes, his martial arts stuff may not be the best, but in all honesty, I really don't care. It connects.
Oh, no, I'm not complaining about his offense. I'm complaining about Morrow calling him a martial artist.
Oh, well, that might
exposing, like, it's like, shut up. It's like, you don't have to call him martial art. Everyone is a martial artist in this world.
So in this particular match, again, Damien Priest looks like a star, and Bronson Reed, matches like this are exactly what every wrestling promotion needs to do with talents that they're trying to elevate. Is you have to put them in situations against other people that are perceived to be in a higher spot than they are, and you build them slowly and you have a competitive match. This match is completely believable because they're both big dudes, even though they're big dudes in different ways. Because you look at a guy, you look at Damien Priest, he's 6'6" and probably 250, 260, and he looks every bit of it. And then you look at Bronson Reed, is probably maybe 6 feet tall, and he goes 350 pounds, and he's as wide as a door. But they're both strong, they're both big dudes, they're both athletic, and in most cases they'd be able to beat just about anybody they get in the ring with. So when you put them in there against each other, it's that question mark. It's the irresistible force against the immovable object. What's going on, right? Now, the thing about this match that I saw is I love the fact that they started with a collar and elbow tie-up, because really Bronson Reed comes into the ring and he's looking at Priest like, get in here, let's go. Damien Priest looked unimpressed, and I was like, do I want Damien Priest to do that in every match? No, because that's more of a heelish thing, especially if Priest is a babyface. The one thing that I thought about this match watching it is like, this is a good example of two modern wrestling babyfaces. Meaning is that they're both ass kickers. You take them seriously. They have enough of an edge to them that if they were to bend or break rules a little bit, nobody's going to really bat an eye. You know, they're not going to be white meat baby faces. Neither one of those guys fit that description. So I think that they're both good examples of modern wrestling baby faces. The fact that Damien Priest had to go out to the floor to regroup first, you know, before the commercial break, he had to go outside the ring and get a timeout. That kind of established to me is like, all right, Damien Priest is the heel in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually the babyface stays in the ring and fights, and the heel will try to get out. So the fact that he did it first established him as the heel in this match. I love Damien Priest's facials when he tried to throw that that spin kick, and then Reed just picked him up literally in midair and just grabbed him and walked him around the ring and slammed him, and he had this, oh my God, that's a great facial. That Falcon Arrow that Priest pulled on, the whole story of the match is with Damien Priest trying to do that Falcon Arrow move. What he's trying to do is that he's trying to establish to Bronson Reed is that I'm the man here. And obviously it's a matter of showing physical dominance. So that's how he's looking at it and saying, this is how I want to get this done. So that was the story there. The spot where Reed missed the splash, but he still got his feet on Damien Priest.
That was scary.
It was scary. It was a botched spot. Thankfully, nobody got hurt, but it looked bad. Bronson Reed actually won the right way. He won the right way in this match, meaning he hits him with a wrestling move. He gets a pin cover, getting a quick one, as they say. You know, and you look at the look on Damien Priest's face, and he's shocked, which is the right thing to do, because ultimately you don't want either one of these guys to get beat flat before a big 5-way ladder match. It was never meant to be that. You want to establish Bronson Reed now, because now Damien Priest is going to be like, he's got to take him more seriously. And now Bronson Reed is like, okay, well, he beat Gargano, he beat Strong, and now he beat Damien Priest. He's not wrestling the lower tier NXT guys anymore. This is on the upper level. So now it's going to be taken more seriously, and his spot now is more solidified in this match. So I thought it was good. Even though the announcers said that, oh, this was no fluke win for Bronson Reed, realistically, Damien Priest can say that it was, because Bronson Reed didn't beat him with the splash. He didn't beat him flat. It was just a quick one. So Damien Priest does have an out if he wants to go there. But I thought that this was a really good match. Served its purpose. This is an example of a match not needing to be the main event match, but it was a perfect match for the purpose that they served. And it was perfectly done.
All right, we got Cody versus Scorpio Sky TNT Championship. This is probably the first defense for Cody that anything could have happened. Well, in my opinion, I thought that maybe Sky could win this match. He would probably be a good guy to give this title to, even though Cody should probably lose to a heel, but still, it was a big enough name that I was like, oh, it could happen. It could happen tonight. This could be the night. These are two of the better guys in the company, so obviously they were going to go out there and have a good match. Cody has a rib injury from the week before. It doesn't take long before he starts selling these ribs, even though they mentioned that, oh, yeah, he said his ribs were fine, whatever. Right away, those ribs come into play. Eventually, doesn't Sky get hurt too? Sky starts selling too. What move led to that? He goes for the springboard thing?
He starts selling his back.
Yeah, he starts selling his back. He goes for that like a springboard move, whatever. He tweaks his back or whatever. Either way, now they're both in pain. There's a superplex spot here, and Scorpio Sky is gonna reverse that. Then that shit at the end, that shit gets crazy. There's like a TKO attempt. Cody goes for Cody reverses that into a crossroads. But that's a false finish. Then Cody goes for a pile driver, a tombstone. Sky gets out, goes for that slingshot cutter. Cody avoids it, catches him again with the crossroads, and gets the win. Yeah, man, I thought that was a really, really fun match. Like I said, two of the better guys in the company, so I knew it would be a good match. I had a good time watching this. Obviously, a sign of things to come with Scorpio Sky. He's going to be a major, major player. And then Brody Lee makes his way. I'm sure Lou did not like this, but Brody Lee's going to make his way to the ring and pretty much challenge Cody. And they presented the new title. The finish.
With the new title.
The finish title. So, if you can see, it looks a lot better. Yeah. It's actually, looking at the other title, I was like, even if they add the gold plates and the little diamonds or whatever, it can't look that much better. But something about that gold and red, it's a huge difference. It's a very nice title. I didn't think I would like it, but now that I see the finished product, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was a match of the night for me. I'm a big fan of Scorpio Sky. never really cared for SCU, so I would love for him to get away from those guys. Me personally, would love to see him more featured more one-on-one. I know from what I've seen on the ticker, he's been wrestling on Dark. Correct me if I'm wrong. He shouldn't be on Dark. This man should be.
Well, everyone's on Dark.
Not him. Cody's not on Dark.
Cody's been on Dark.
Young Bucks
been on Dark. Kenny Omega's been on Dark. Everybody's been on Dark.
When's the last time we saw Scorpio on Wednesday?
Last week.
Wrestling?
Nah, he wasn't wrestling. He came out to pretty much challenge Cody.
No, that don't count. He didn't even challenge him. He just stood in front of him in an awkward position.
What?
I don't know. I've missed several shows. I would like to know when's the last time Scorpio's been on a Wednesday. I'd like to see more of Scorpio, especially if you're taking him as seriously as he was presented on Wednesday. But beyond that, I really enjoyed the back and forth. What I'm not liking, I need some explanation about Cody coming out with 30 people. I'm over it. Please just come out with Arn, and that's it. He's your coach. He should be good enough. I don't want to see your brother, your wife, her friend's doll, her boyfriend. I'm over it.
Oh, he doesn't usually come out with so many people. I think this was storyline driven. He usually comes out just Arn, but for some reason the announcers were pushing almost the same way you were saying.
No, it's been for a couple of weeks where he comes out with.
He came out with Dustin last week. I think. No, he came out just Arn. No,
just Arn. That's it.
Yeah, this was the first time since a pay-per-view, but they sold it like if he does it all the time.
Oh, well, I guess
this could be that Cody's starting to get a big head type story here. Well, and he's been showing little glimpses of heelish bullshit.
There was a little something with that where he got on his knees and what did they announce him as? It was an extra little nugget there.
The Prince of Pro Wrestling.
Yeah. So okay, I guess there's something there.
He's getting a big head.
There's something to it. Hopefully, this is a tease at him taking an L soon. But yeah, overall, I mean, I enjoyed the match. Trying to think of something I didn't like. I just really like Scorpio. Him taking the finish and selling the leg coming up, an attempt to kick out, but the leg just comes up and he just dies and takes the 1, 2, 3. Dude is good, man. I need more Scorpio. That's really what I got out of this match. I see this guy. He's putting in work. Show me him more. Like, let me see him consistently on Wednesdays. Yeah.
I agree. This match is a perfect example of what AEW at times does wrong when they put opponents in there against Cody, is that they have matches where you put them on AEW Dark and yet you're pretending that the audience that watches Dynamite knows that it's happening. When I see Scorpio Sky with a record of 7-1 going into this match, I just think to myself, like, how did he get 7 wins? He's probably wrestling against tomato cans and nobody sees it. And then he's challenging Cody for the TNT title. Good match or not, you could do a whole lot more with Scorpio Sky in terms of making this match feel a lot more important from his perspective. All matches are going to be important from Cody's perspective because he's the champion and they're telling that story. But it's not important from the challenger's perspective. Because if you want to get Scorpio Sky over even in defeat, you got to tell the story from his point of view, strong enough so that the audience can feel captivated to follow with him. And even after he loses, you're going to continue telling that story. It's the same thing that I've said with a lot of Cody's opponents. It almost seems like it's just a bunch of one-off matches. Like they'll have the match, whether it's good or it's bad, it doesn't matter. It's then you go the following week and those people aren't on, and you go the week after that and that person's still not on, and they're still not on, and they're still not on weeks and weeks later. After a certain point, the match gets forgotten. But anyway, going back in, Scorpio, when I saw Scorpio Sky come out and the whole breaking the door down and all that, it felt very WCW-ish, from a production standpoint. Looking back at old WCW matches, that's what it felt like. I agree with you, Chris. I love Scorpio Sky. I think he's fantastic. I don't want to see him with SCU anymore because I prefer SCU to be Kaz and Daniels. They seem to be more of a natural team. Scorpio Sky needs to be a single immediately. You know, Cody comes out with his entire entourage. I wrote here, it's Arn, Dusty, Brandy with her action figure, you know, Allie, QT with the flag. Like, why is this necessary? You know,
it's not necessary.
But what I'm saying is that the announcers, you know, they're trying to play it off like, oh, it's probably a psychological game and all this other stuff. So I'm like, okay, the announcers are trying to tell one story. I actually like your story, Vic, better about him getting a big.
No, but they were. Was it JR who's kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is he coming out with so many people? It doesn't make him like he's like if he's going crazy or some shit. Like he's getting carried away. He basically said he's getting carried away, if I remember, like, or this is getting carried away with all these people.
Yeah, but well, and then going in, you know, I've said this before, and it's worth saying again. Justin Roberts sucks as a ring announcer.
Really, I like him.
Scorpio. What was it? Was it tire leaking? Like, come on, man.
I like
it. Sky. Like, just say it. Don't stretch it out so much.
I like it, man. The UFC is.
Yeah, I like announcers who are. Why am I gonna pay you if you're just a regular announcer? Go to WWE if you want to be a regular announcer.
Man,
give me some passion.
All right, that's fine. We'll agree to disagree there. You know, as we've already alluded to, Cody now refers to himself as the Prince of Pro Wrestling. But you know, who declared that? And I was just like, oh yeah, that's right. Heel Cody declared that because that's what a heel does. So yeah. I got it. I think both guys are great wrestlers, so this is going to be a good match. I saw Nyla Rose sitting out there at ringside. That's a no-no. She and Vicky Guerrero should not be sitting at ringside watching any match.
Not be out now that you mention it, I saw her, but I didn't believe it was her. She looked like a regular chick.
Period.
She looked like a regular chick. It looked like she was like without her hair and like a tank top. I'm like, that can't be her.
Again, she should not be out there unless she's wrestling in full gimmick. I don't care what the thought process that AEW has. There's certain performers that you have to protect, and she's one of them. So, period. Don't have her at ringside. Or Vicky Guerrero. She's going to be her representative. Neither one of them. You know, I already spoke about Scorpio Sky and why he has a 7-1 record, and I've never seen him win a single match in AEW is because it's all on dark and I don't watch it. I like the fact that, you know, when Cody got the advantage on Scorpio Sky, that he actually did kind of like a heelish thing where he's, you know, he opens the ropes for him like, yo, come on in. And Scorpio Sky kind of looks at him like,
Scorpio did it first though.
I didn't catch that. The Scorpio did it first.
Scorpio did it first.
All right.
Which how do you bringing it up? I enjoyed it because Scorpio is basically like introducing himself like, hey, I'm Scorpio Sky, I'm on your level. That's how I took it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that, you know, knowing that he is a member of the inaugural AEW Tag Team Champions, it kind of seems awkward to me that he has to introduce himself. You know, I look up and I said, you know, when Scorpio Sky hit Cody Rhodes with a big clothesline and then he just started jaw jacking, I'm like, who's he talking to? This is one match that I really don't believe needed to go out to the floor. This match did not need to go outside the ring at all. I thought that was a bit of a unnecessary spot. I did like the fact that they slowed the match down during the commercial break. When they had the picture-in-picture, they actually slowed the match down. They didn't do anything major. They didn't do any major spots, nothing crazy. They kept the match, you know, they slowed it down enough so that the commercial break is not a place for you to be doing big spots. Again, Cody did a fantastic job of telling the story about his ribs. He did a great job with that. You know, keeping that. A note to the announcers, and again, this is something, you know, specifically for JR. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to give shine to Scorpio Sky, calling him that he could possibly be the first black AEW champion. With all due respect, that's completely unnecessary because Scorpio Sky was, again, a member of the inaugural AEW Tag Team Champions, and for a company that's only been in existence for a year, that is a ridiculous thing to say.
They brought up They brought up that he was the first black tag champ as well.
Again, it's ridiculous to mention that. I get
I think it's JR like realizing the moment. I think JR is sometimes he teeters these lines, and then someone has to drag him back.
This is where I have said it in past videos, and I'll say it again. This is where you need to have somebody producing these guys. You need to have somebody producing them. And I'm not talking about yelling in their ear and feeding them lines. It's more a matter of having somebody who's there, who's listening. And when somebody says something that is off the rails, they need to be told right then and there. Don't say that. It's ridiculous.
It's probably hard to coach good old JR.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I love the fact that Scorpio Sky went after Cody's ribs and he did the abdominal stretch, and he really, he did the digging the nails and the elbow and all that. That was really well done. Taz is fantastic on commentary. Keep him on there. I don't ever need to hear Excalibur again. If it's just, Taz, JR, and Shivani, I'm good with that. He's fantastic.
And he holds JR. He holds JR to his shit, too.
Yeah. The one thing that I will say that there was one spot in this match that really kind of seemed a little bit unnecessary. Scorpio Sky didn't need to hit that flying cutter on Cody on the stage, only because of the fact that when he hit him with that move and then he immediately rolled him back into the ring and only got a 2 count. It's like, if you can't beat Cody with that, what are you going to beat him with? Like that should be enough that if you roll him in the ring immediately, Cody should be able to stay down for a count of 3. The superplex spot by Cody was great. I hated the fact, as much as I can say that this is slightly plausible that Scorpio Sky, takes that one big bump and then he tries to roll him up and get a 3 count. The only thing that made it really ridiculous was the fact that both guys got up immediately afterwards, not selling anything. And when both guys are hurt, Cody has bad ribs and Scorpio Sky selling his back. And then they go right into the next spot. Yeah, they sold nothing. That was stupid. Don't do that. You guys are better than that.
I felt the same way watching it.
Scorpio Sky kicked out of the Crossroads. Good false finish. And I didn't mention the referee, Mike Chioda. Hey, welcome to AEW. I'm glad that's a good hire, a very good hire for AEW. Chioda's fantastic. Cody, then they go through the whole spot where, Scorpio Sky tries to hit Cody with his finish. Cody then hits him with the second Crossroads, got the win. I agree with you, Chris, that when Scorpio Sky kind of raised the leg and then died, I thought that was a good way to go. It was very well done. Like I said, I thought this was a very good match with the few exceptions that I spoke about. Brody Lee, I'm sorry, all of his promos to me are bullshit. I don't care how much fire he shows; it's garbage. I don't need to hear it. When Brody Lee uses the whole TikTok thing, I'm like, come on, brother, let's be creative. Like, you got a top star on the other channel saying the exact same thing. Come on, man, don't copy that. Yeah. Scorpio Sky worked a very good match, but I will say this is something that I didn't like, and I wish they would have done this. I'm generally not about the whole huggy kissy thing that these guys do in AEW a lot of times after these big matches, but I think that to have a moment where Cody and Scorpio Sky shake hands after the match as a sign of respect was something that was needed in this match, because it was going to be the acknowledgement of that was going to be beneficial to Scorpio Sky moving forward.
It was kind of awkward having. I didn't mind the Brody Lee promo. I'm not a big fan of the belt because we've already seen him have a belt, steal a belt already. So I'm not a big fan of that.
Same thing.
I didn't mind the promo. I personally like his promos. I feel like he's shitting on WWE and Vince, so I enjoy that. I think it's funny, which it shouldn't be. But what I didn't like for his promo is what you're saying, that in the corner I see Scorpio Sky awkwardly walking away.
It's just,
yeah.
It's a matter of
that was off.
That's a moment where you have to. And here's the thing: after that promo went off the screen, then it just shows Cody just walking away. Cody showed no emotion. There was no nothing, no concern. There was nothing. He just got up and walked away. So I'm saying that these are these little things, these little detailed things. You have, like I said, you have a good match. With a few exceptions, then you do the afterbirth, which is, again, it can be really good, but for some reason, again, I'm not a big fan of Brody Lee because I think that people are overhyping him, and I've yet to see something from Brody Lee that I can really be like, yo, this was really good. I've yet to be really impressed with him in AEW, and I can understand the position that he's trying to take with this promo and how he's trying to present it. It's just a matter that I don't think that he's a good enough arbiter to execute it. So I just have to be okay with, getting 60 or 70% of the way there, and I'm going to have to be cool with that. But it's a matter of this is the exact same gimmick that he did back in May with Jon Moxley, with the exception that instead of him beating up Moxley with the minions and taking the title off of him, and physically taking the belt, it's just a matter that, Cody has the new TNT title and he takes the old one and shows it to his face like, this is what I want. Are there other ways to
You guys know when he's challenging him?
When he's challenging him, because Brody had the old or the original TNT title.
But I'm saying, so
it'll probably be the next show.
when.
It's going to be on the next show.
I hope not.
It's going to be.
I'd like
But
this
it's an open
to drag.
challenge. As soon as you challenge him, you get the match.
I'd rather see him in particular maybe be the one to take the belt and maybe be that looming threat for weeks and then cash in his open challenge. But to do it immediately right away, I don't think he deserves that.
I thought he would probably take the belt off Cody, maybe, until I realized that Cody's going to turn heel and a babyface is going to do it. So,
I mean, this is more of a very concerted effort by AEW to get the Dark Order over. Now, let's see what happens. I'm not going to completely dismiss it. I'm going to wait to see what happens. But it's a very concerted effort on their part. They're really, really featuring them on Dynamite, which is the right thing to do. If you want to get the talent over, you feature them on your main show. So for that, they're doing the right. But whether or not they'll be able to actually get there in the end, only time will tell.
A question for you guys before we move forward. How do you guys feel about, because it seems that way, both Cody and Kenny sort of leaning towards going heel at the same time?
The thing is for me is that I'm not too partial to it, only because it was weird, because I've said this to Vic in other videos and privately that I really think that the best course of action for AEW would be to create like a Horseman 2.0 that features Cody as the leader. Then you have Hangman Page and FTR. And if you want to have Arn Anderson should probably be the guy in the corner realistically. Brandy Rhodes is very pretty, but I don't necessarily think that she's going to be a big addition. But if you have that group, what you do is that you have them be heel, and eventually Hangman then turns babyface, and then that's when he becomes the AEW champion. Considering that Cody would be able to beat Moxley, because I always keep going under the impression that Cody Rhodes would challenge Moxley because Moxley could care less about any conditions. He just wants to fight no matter what. If you tell the right story, Moxley will be more than willing to give Cody a match. And then that's when you have Arn and FTR and Hangman jump Moxley, beat the piss out of him, 1, 2, 3, Cody's the champion. Then you can tell that story for 6 months, a year, where you can see that Cody Rhodes is noticing that, hey, Hangman's nipping at my heels here, and then you tell that story where, Hangman was always cool with FTR, from the very beginning, and then FTR turns on him, Cody turns on him, and then that's when you crown him the champion, when you can get him at his hottest. I'm not really too enthralled about having Cody and Omega becoming heels at the same time, because I think that Cody can really pull it off, and maybe Omega can pull it off. It's just a matter of having the right opponent. I don't think the Hangman would be the best first opponent for Omega, because in all honesty, if I'm viewing Hangman Page as the future AEW champion, I don't necessarily want him losing in a rivalry with a former partner. It almost seems like Hangman needs to be the guy that goes over in the end. So that's kind of the reason.
Yeah. All right, Vic, what you got?
I mean, I don't mind them. Just because they're both teasing heel turns at the same time doesn't mean they're turning at the same time. This is AEW. This is not a 1 week, 2 week, 3 week storyline. Yeah. This is a 6-month storyline. So Kenny could turn first, probably at the pay-per-view. Cody will probably turn 3 months after that. As long as they don't turn 1 week apart.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, they'll probably turn 2 months apart. So it's like, it's not going to be a big deal, especially in wrestling where 2 months is
An eternity.
Years.
Yeah, how many stories are you going to tell in 2 months? All right, then we have the triple threat. We have Kushida versus Cameron Grimes versus making his return, Velveteen Dream. Ow! I mean, this was pretty good, fast-paced, action-packed three-way. This was it. Cameron Grimes is gonna pick up the win on Kushida. So this is another one where if you look at the three guys, the guy with the smallest name is gonna win the match. Nothing wrong with that. Well, Kushida's a way bigger star than Cameron Grimes. So is Velveteen Dream. I don't think this is even close.
Kushida's not in the WWE. Velveteen Dream, you can make the argument for. Not Kushida, not in the WWE. Not the way he's been presented.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, Cameron Grimes is not a top 15 talent in NXT, and he's in this match. This undervalues the belt, if you ask me. Or it tells me that this is a mid-card title, so we're going to put all the mid-carders in the match.
I agree with Vic.
We spoke about this already, Lou. You agreed.
Correct, but that was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the match has changed significantly now to where my position has changed there.
Well, 3 out of the 4 matches we've seen as qualifiers had mid-card guys win the match.
Okay, but
it probably should have been bigger names winning each of those matches.
But here's the deal. The reality is that in this match, did the right guy win? Yes, the right guy won. Who's been featured over the last 6 to 8 weeks on NXT? Whether he wins or loses, he's been featured and featured well. Whether it's cutting promos, having matches, interfering in Keith Lee's promos, whatever have you, it's been Cameron Grimes. So whether he wins or loses in those previous instances, he's been heavily featured. Kushida is a guy that, yes, Kushida has an outstanding name and one of the greatest junior heavyweight wrestlers in the world coming from Japan. And I always, and one of my notes that I wrote is that Kushida always gets fantastic offense in each and every one of his matches. However, he never wins. So that's the whole thing. It's always a matter of making Kushida look good, but Kushida's not going over. Does it make sense for Velveteen Dream to lose? The answer is yes, because look at who his opponent's going to be next week. Finn Balor. That's a much bigger match than this one that he was in tonight or this past Wednesday night. If let's just say, for example, Velveteen Dream goes over on Kushida, and then you're going to see Cameron Grimes against Finn Balor. That doesn't feel as big of a main event match.
That's not the match we care about. We care about the 5-way.
Yes, but here's the thing:
Velveteen and Finn Balor should probably both be in that match.
And I think that ultimately they will. I think ultimately it's not.
I don't think they can, unless it's like some sort of weird.
This is why I'm saying that ultimately I think that Ridge Holland's going to beat Gargano, and then you're going to see both Balor and Velveteen Dream. It's going to be some kind of a schmoz finish to where Regal's going to put both of those guys in the match. It's just
if they're both in the match, then that'll be enough star power to make me happy. But either way, it's good to see Velveteen back. I'm not gonna get into the whole BS, whatever.
No, please.
I'm watching the TV show as a fan of the show. I'm watching it. I'm not watching it like a journalist, like trying to get the inside scoop and trying to get the dirt on anyone. He's a character. I'm judging the character, and it's good to see the character back on television. You're gonna get the Velveteen doesn't get pinned, so they have those matches put together that the guy who doesn't get pinned, they're facing each other. So it's Balor and Velveteen facing off next week, right? That's what they said.
Correct.
So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun match having three different styles clash in this match. Three very different styles. Cool to see Velveteen come out. I'm a fan of his in-ring work. Outside stuff, I hope it gets resolved as it should. I'm not even really that familiar with it, so I'll have to look into it after we're done, but we don't have to get into it here. Yeah, I thought it was a fun match. Velveteen selling his ass off per usual. Cameron kind of snuck away with this one, which is how it should have been. I agree with Lewis saying, yeah, Kushida hasn't been featured as heavily, and Velveteen's just getting back. And more importantly to me, it felt like a downgrade. Granted, it is for the North American title, but last time we saw him, it was for the championship, NXT title. So this felt like a downgrade seeing him come out. It felt like a punishment, but I guess it wasn't a punishment because he was rewarded after the match to fight Finn. But yeah, when the match began, I'm like, okay, this is a little punishment. Set him back. He's not winning this match. I knew that from the beginning. It did feel like a downgrade because to me, he's a bigger name than both of these guys. Yeah, I have to agree with Lou. The right man did win this match.
I mean, this match is what I noted put in my notes. It was a beautiful mess. Because it was a mess of a match. I mean, it was a mess, but it was a beautiful mess because it worked out and it was very synchronous because each one of them got highlighted. Kushida doing all his high flying stuff, getting all his, the Japanese strong style, all the strikes over. Then you have, Velveteen Dream doing his wrestling and his brawling moves. And then you have Cameron Grimes picking his spots. So it all worked out. And the thing is, when Cameron Grimes pinned Kushida, what did he do? He hit him with his finish. And that's the way that you have to get him over. So ultimately, it was a beautiful mess. It worked out very well, and the right guy won.
Okay. And he also Velveteen also turned heel, so that's good. And little change of character for him.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it just kind of feels a little awkward because of the fact that he beat up Kushida, so means that after whatever happens with Balor next week, at some point NXT is going to have to pay that off with a one-on-one match between Kushida and Velveteen Dream. At some point, they'll have to pay that off, to give Kushida a feature match, even though he'll lose because he doesn't win, but it'll still be a fun match to watch, in a one-on-one with him and Velveteen.
Dude, Velveteen looked like Hollywood Hogan when he came out with the blonde beard and the bandana, the hair. I'm like, oh shit.
If he was 50 pounds heavier, he could probably play Superstar Graham. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, listen, I like Velveteen Dream. It's just a matter that for me, it almost seems like the more I see it, the less I'm impressed. So I'm glad that we got like a little change of character going here. Like he lost again, and he's starting to snap. So it's good to see that because, his shtick was starting to get a little old with me. So let's get a little nuance there and see let's see what happens.
All right, we got Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy.
Oh boy.
Oh, real go.
Wait, this is exactly what you called for, Lou. Cassidy was serious the entire match.
Okay. All right. Okay.
He comes in like a bat out of hell. He's fired up from the beginning. It doesn't take not even a second before he's chasing Jericho around trying to kill him. There is one spot where he does the soft slap. So what are you talking about, right?
No, that was just one spot, and it led to the super kick. So I thought it was stupid, but once he hit him with the super kick, I was like, okay, if he only does that one time in the match, then I'll let that one be.
Yeah, this match had 700 reversals, which is a Jericho pretty much special That's what probably he's really, 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 really good at. Besides reinventing himself, in his matches, there's always very, very creative reversals. There was even like a flying Hurricane Rana into the walls. I thought that was cool. Then the ending is he puts him in that kind of weird pin that probably didn't go well. I don't know why.
Awkward.
I've seen him do. I think this might be Jericho being a little too fat for this pin.
Too stiff.
Yeah, I've seen Orange Cassidy do like so many different variations, and the pins usually look really, really crispy. So I don't know what went wrong. Of course, Taz being so damn good, he doesn't even hesitate. He's like, "Oh, he's got him in the mousetrap. He's got him in the mousetrap." So he kind of knew what was going on, even though we didn't. But Cassidy wins. I didn't think he was gonna win. They did have the interference and Hager sneaking in, hitting his move, which was very nice and clean in the middle. You know, and then you get the nice false finish there because it looked perfect for a finish. And then you get the Mike Chioda story. You know, they set it up earlier in the night where Jericho's like, "Come on, bro. You know, we go way back. I saved your job before. Like, look out for a brother. You know, we all good."
In AEW. Yeah, and I could get you a job in AEW, which is.
I'm saying you're gonna be set for life. Everything's
gonna
be all right.
You've reffed 2 matches tonight. This one will be it, and then you sign a contract.
You know what I'm saying? You get a nice little lucrative ref deal.
I'm already hired, bro. I've been here all night.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
I'm already hired.
Well, Chioda does do a good job of selling the whole situation. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with Jericho? This guy's losing his fucking mind," which he is losing his goddamn mind. He's been losing it for probably like 4 or 5 months already.
Thanks to the GOAT.
Along with all his matches, but anyway.
Well,
nah.
That's
this was a big loss. But I mean, like I said, the babyface eventually got to get his.
What was the finish, Vic?
That roll up. Well, they do the ref spot where he's telling the ref to turn around.
The back.
Yeah, so he's gonna then the back gets snatched. Does he go for the pin right there?
No, he goes for
a Superman punch.
He hits him with the Superman punch. Then Jericho, is able to counter, and then he gets put into that really awkward.
He went to the Judas, and then Orange rolled him up, and then it was awkward. Yeah.
Like and subscribe, everyone.